Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. We've got another cold case. I'm just really don't want to talk about war or Trump or any of that. Let's just have a break from it. So, I've got another cold case for us, and this is actually kind of a really cool case. Now, this is about a doctor, a second year medical student. So, it was the night before spring break in 2006, and Brian Shaffer, a 27-year-old second year medical student at Ohio State University, had spent the evening out with friends at the Ugly Tuna Saloona, a popular student bar near campus. Shaffer was seen on security footage around 1:55 a.m. chatting outside the bar with two women before turning back inside. When the bar closed just 5 minutes later, the camera captured hundreds of students pouring out and down the escalator. Every single person was accounted for, except Shaffer. He never reappeared on camera. He wasn't inside the bar, and he was never seen or heard from again. There 1 minute, gone the next. That short snapshot of footage between 2 decades of mystery and one enduring question that continues to baffle investigators to this day. How could a man walk into a bar and just vanish into thin air? Countless theories have emerged about what happened that night, from Shaffer running off to start a new life, to suffering an accident on a construction site, or even falling foul of a serial killer who targeted young athletic men. All right, so let's find out. He's a very nice looking man. He's the man on the thumbnail. Of course, we have the regular people who look like him, and people call it in and say, oh, I seen him. And they even continue 20 years later to trickle in even now. But considering it's 20 years later, he would not be looking how he looked. On the 20, and this is the 20th anniversary, that's why I'm bringing it up. This is the 20th anniversary of one of the country's most astonishing disappearances. Shaffer's surviving family say they still believe a breakthrough is possible. A private investigator who has worked the case for decades told the Daily Mail he has set his sights on a suspect. For Shaffer's brother Derek, the pain of not knowing what happened that night still weighs heavy. This isn't something anyone should have to go through. Living without answers for nearly 20 years is a daily pain. My brother has missed so many important moments in our family's life, and that absent is always there. People have their theories and speculations, but at the end of the day, this is something that affects me and my family all the time. More than anything, I just hope we get the truth someday. Their mother, Renee, died from cancer 3 weeks before Shaffer's disappearance. Their father, Randy, died in a freak accident when a tree fell on him during a storm in 2008. While his dad died not knowing what happened to his son, Derek believes someone out there knows something and could finally bring the family closure one day. So one brother remains out of the family. Wow. So obviously they think that he's been murdered, and they do believe that he did leave the bar that night. But what happened after he left the bar? Anyways, let's get to it. Disappeared. So he's on footage outside the bar, goes back in, and they accounted for everybody when hundreds of students left at 2 a.m. They accounted for everybody. He was the only one not on camera. So what happened? So they do believe he's dead. They do believe he was murdered. But how did he leave the bar? So let's find out. The Emperor here. So if you've never seen me do this reading, I want 24 cards because we're going to lay out 25 of them. All right. And I have no idea what my intuition, there's no rhyme or reason how I pick the card, so please don't ask. One, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, this one turned, so it probably wants in. 5. Wow, 6. That's never happened before. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right, so these are out of play. I just want to make sure I have 24 before we all lay them out. I don't think I've ever had them to turn over like that they wanted to be in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. All right. And the Emperor represents Shaffer. Brian Shaffer. So in 2006, he was 27. Can you imagine that poor family? 3 weeks before, the mother passes away from cancer. And then 2 years after, the brother goes missing, presumed dead. The father dies in a freak accident, and all leaves just one son left to deal with all of this. Where's Brian? What happened to Brian? What happened to Brian? How did he get out of that? How did he get out? How did he get out of the bar without a trace? How did he get out? And I'm sure they combed over the surveillance over and over. They wouldn't have just gone over it once, go, oh, he's not there. I'm sure they looked at every angle of that. What happened to Brian Shaffer? How does somebody just disappear into thin air? All right, let's go. The Hierophant, the Magician. I don't read these in reverse, so if they turn reverse, I just turn them over. He definitely was moved out of there. It took 3 people. He was definitely moved out of there. There he is. Well, they were celebrating spring break. Okay, let's put, ooh, the Devil. Page of Swords. There's drugs involved. Justice. Page of Cups. You know, what's interesting, I'm not getting any kind of real violence here. I'm getting drugs. I'm getting possible drug overdose. Whether he did it to himself or was put in his drink, because we have the magic right here, is another story. Boy, lots of money. Okay, I think we have a drug situation here. I think he was given drugs. I'm going to say without his knowledge. I'm going to say he was given drugs without his knowledge. And he overdosed. But how did they get him out of... How? Maybe he didn't leave that night. Maybe he didn't leave that night. I'm going to say somebody was paid. I think that's what, actually, I think that's what's happened. I think there was a drug overdose, and and I don't think he left that night. That's why they don't have any record of him leaving. I think he was they've paid somebody to remove him in the darkness of the night when the cameras were turned off. I think that's what happened. I'm just looking here to see if that matches with anything. Oh, he does. Okay. The investigator believes that he was murdered, and the student did in fact leave the bar that night. Canine dogs picked up his scent into a Wendy's parking lot next door, and it then stopped, suggesting he could have gotten into another vehicle. It says whether he got into the car or began walking is the $1,000,000 question. So it was March 31st. I'm going to say that I think 3 people somehow carried him out. I'm going to say that it was a drug overdose. It's right here. There's no movement around it, so he's not getting attacked. I've got my drug cards right here. And there he is. And there's the magician. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to say that he did not take them voluntarily. I'm going to say they were put into his drink and he did not know. I'm going to say somebody was paid to take him away. I think I agree with that investigator. I think he left that night. He definitely moved on from that bar that night. I'm going to say it took 3 people. I'm going to say that there was some kind of security person who knew what he was doing. Because you think about it, if there was a drug overdose in that bar and all his friends said, oh, he never did drugs. I mean, he was in medical school and, nobody ever knew of them. That bar actually has the potential to lose a lot of money. And I think that's what's happened here. I think the bar knew he was in bad shape. And I'm going to say that they then had provisions in place. They paid big, big money for somebody to take him out. Or perhaps he wasn't quite dead. Perhaps he was just really out of it. And they didn't want the rumor to go around that was a dangerous place for college students, or, things go in your drinks, right? Things go in your drinks. Perhaps they've had a warning already. Because here also, surprise, there's something in your drink. I'm going to say this was a male who did this to him. I'm going to say it was a male who did this to him. And I think he had other ideas what he was going to do with him. Now, will his body ever be found? They were successful in moving him out. There it is. It took 3 of them. They were successful. Look at this blanket. I'm looking at this blanket here. and these two have blankets on them. I'm wondering if, like, somehow, he was like in the laundry bag or something like that. Um, right? All bars have laundry. They have towels in the back, washing, wiping things up and washing, and bar mop and mop. So I'm wondering if, like, they got him out in a laundry bag. So they stuffed. I'm gonna say it took three people. He looks like he was a fairly large man. When you look at pictures of him with friends, he looks like he's bigger than everyone. Oh, I guess he was known to be a drinker. And cadaver dogs searched the building from top to bottom. So I'm wondering if he was alive when they took him out. And and then he passed away in the night. I wonder if he was in such a state. Perhaps he was drinking, and somebody put that, whatever it was, in his drink. This male here, and he was a mess. So they didn't want the other students to see him. They were worried he might have died. And then they've paid somebody to take him out. I think he was taken out like in the laundry bags. But so where is he now? Where is he now? Right? If he died in there, the cadaver dogs would have discovered that. But the cadaver dogs discovered nothing. So where is he? Where is his body? Where is his body? Where is his body? Where is his body? I think a male drugged him and was going to do some things to him, even though he wasn't inclined in that way at all. Where is his body? Where is his body now? Well, it's near his home. It's near his home. So where's his home? Because he was going to Ohio State, the hanged man, he's been moved. He's been moved. The chariot in reverse. The hermit in reverse. Three major arcanas. He's definitely somewhere by himself, right? So it's not like they threw him, like some people said, oh, he's in a construction site, or he was there or there. No, no. I'm going to say they moved him twice, and he's somewhere like by himself. So like, thrown in a field or in a forest. All three of these cards are outside. He's pretty close to his home where he lived. So I don't know if there's like forest near there. I'm going to say he's not in water. He's definitely outside. He's definitely somewhere where it snows. I don't know that much about Ohio. I imagine it snows everywhere. Um, but he's not in water. I'm not even going to say he's underground. I'm not even going to say he's underground. The Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, he's on top of the ground. He's on top of the ground. And we don't even have that many trees around. So, like in an open field, perhaps. You say, well, 20 years, you think a farmer would farm? No, there's lots of fields that, prairie fields, Um, they're just a field. They aren't necessarily a farmer's field. Um, but he's not underground. He's definitely on top of the ground. And wherever he is, so he's not like in a cemetery or around a lot of other people. Um, so he's not like in a busy area. That's what I'm trying to get at. Of course, he's by himself, but he's not in a busy area. Will they ever find his body? 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 Yeah, he's not in water and he's not underground. Will they ever find his body? Will they ever find his body and give his brother some peace? No. No, he's look at that. He's in a field again. Yeah, he's like he's exposed. He's in a field. No, they won't. He can throw as much his brother can throw as much money as he wants at this. They won't. That's sad. All right. But anyways, this poor soul was drugged. He probably had too much to drink, and the alcohol didn't mix that well with him. And they had to sneak him out. I think they snuck him out in the laundry bags or some kind of bag and undercover kind of thing. He did leave the bar that night. He did not leave dead, but I think he was incapacitated, and that's how they got him out. And and then eventually, I think he died by morning, and I think it was a drug overdose. And I'm not getting that we're not getting really attacks here. Possible strangulation with the hanged man. Possible strangulation with the hanged man. To complete whatever. And he's in a field somewhere. He's been moved. Whether that was by humans or other animals, he's been moved. I'm going to say he's been moved at least twice. And he's not buried and he's not in water. And they probably won't find him. This will be one of those enduring mysteries. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Over and out.